What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. It's me. Now, I was gonna do this video when I got to LA. Well, guess what? They changed my flight. Very upset about it. They changed my flight completely. And so instead of leaving earlier today, I am going to be leaving in probably about 2.5 hours. So I'm going to do this video here quickly. Now, you guys have been hearing me repeatedly talk about the funding course, and why did I bring it up again? Because I go and test out my theory at multiple banks. I go, hey, this is the money I have. This is how much income's coming in. This is how much money this company makes or that company makes. And I'm just totally testing the banks out. And I go, give me some answers. Explain to me why this works this way. Explain to me why this works. And it's so interesting. Well, before I get into that, drop your city and state. Drop a like. Your girl's getting ready to go to California. If you haven't, make sure you looked up the event for the August boat party and VIP dinner, August 3rd and 4th. Look up, if you last minute folks, I haven't closed it out, but last minute folks, if you're trying to get on the Los Angeles mastermind meetup tomorrow, I left it open just in case, because I feel like there's going to be one person like, I got my Tuesday off or whatever. Left it open. And also July 13th, the bus tour is absolutely sold out. Sorry, bus tour sold out, but the meetup is still on and popping in Chicago. But now back to the program. Now, many of you will like, I want to quit my job, Erica. I want to quit my job. And I beg of you to not. I be begging y'all, please don't quit your job. Please don't quit your job till you get your funding, because as an entrepreneur, as someone who's been in business for like 5 years, who has tax returns, documents, money coming through the bank. I'm talking about big stacks of cash going through Stripe and all these accounts. Banks are like, oh, but you don't have a job. I mean, I literally test out all these theories. I go to y'all, if y'all know how many banks I go to in Austin, these people probably think I'm cuckoo, but I go and I ask questions and I say, well, can I get approved for this? How can I approve? You know what I mean? I put a lot of work into that funding course. I put a lot of work into how you stack these things. And reason why real estate gets so much attention is real estate is one of the easiest things to get funding for from banks. It's just one of the easiest, okay? But two, also people who have a job, quotations, and good tax returns, honestly. Those people are the second person who's easiest to get funding and loans. Now, the video is titled Credit Card Madness for a reason. A lot of people have gone credit card crazy. Now, it used to be just entrepreneurs going credit card crazy because they could not get funding from other sources. They just couldn't. Banks were like, oh, you're an entrepreneur, get out of my face, get out of here with that crazy talk. And when you try to convey to people that the reason Credit Card Madness started, it wasn't for the everyday Joe. It wasn't for the guy going to work every week. It was for people who, like me, who are business owners, who most banks give a hard time on funding. Okay? And now, because of the internet, you have all these young people going, oh man, you got to get these credit cards. Get crazy. Get these credit cards, man. And you get these points and vacations. So now you got 37 million people out here 90 days late on their credit card, meaning they are struggling. You got 7 million people 90 days late on their car, which means they're struggling, which means they haven't learned the most fundamental part, which is the getting the money. Like, making more money is always going to be the answer in these equations, because even if you get these credit cards, and let's say you buy $10,000 of stuff to sell online, then you're still going to need marketing capital, and you're still going to need somewhere to store it, right? So a lot of times people are getting credit cards thinking they're the answer, and really they're not the answer. What you do with it is the answer. How you make the system work for you is the answer. And I get it. I get it. You see people going on vacations. You see people out here popping bottles, living their best life. But I promise you, when this not the light baby recession, because people are like, oh, Erica, if we're in one, it's very little. It's very, very little. And these are people who are engineers who make $140,000 a year telling me it's light. I said, baby, you work in a job where you're not going to fit. If you have half a brain in your head, not to spend all your money as an engineer, you can make a pretty good living. If you got half a brain not to get the most expensive apartment, the most expensive car, and max out your debt, which most engineer men and women are very risk averse financially, they're very risk averse, you'll be fine. Because the income you're making is so high, it's very hard to get stupid on it. Now, can they get stupid on it? For sure. Getting stupid on it means that they get a BMW, a 7 Series or something. They get really crazy with it. Oh, you're trying to go see that thread? I would have to go look, maybe Black Wall Street, or no, not them. It's a guy who is always posting amazing, elegant posts about Italy and travel and business. And then all of a sudden, for 24 hours, it was like crazy post. I'm not big on debt consolidation. To me, debt consolidation is something you can do if you just sit down and write it out. If you put auto draft on your account to pay your cards, that's debt consolidation right there, because they'll automatically be withdrawn from your account, out of your mind. But a lot of people want one number. They want to ball all the cards up and put it onto one sweet, pretty number. And that, I get it, but it's really not worth it. You can really just make notations and pay it off. And that's my thoughts on consolidations. Because 90% of the time, when people try to do bankruptcy or anything like that, they get surprised, right? And this isn't my personal client. This is a friend who, she works at bankruptcies. People all the time will make $3,000 a month, and they'll have debts going to like $1,700. Well, they'll go file bankruptcy, and the bankruptcy people go, well, now you're going to pay $1,300, which really didn't solve the person's problem. It took off like $400. You'd think it did, but 9 times out of 10, you're still going to pay a huge amount. It's just in one lump sum payment. And so that's my thoughts on debt consolidation. Hold on, you guys. I got to get me some coffee before I get to this airport.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, can I get the dark chocolate iced coffee, please?
Yeah, what size?
The small size.
Gotcha. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Alright, I'll be with you.
Thank you. Okay. So, the reason why, now, I'm a big believer in use the system if it's going to use you, right? Banks are not lending to startup companies as much as you guys think. They're not lending to a lot of companies, right? So SBA horror stories, I mentioned it to one of the bankers, and she was offended because, she does a good job, and she thinks, SBA is very helpful for people, and everybody I know is like, SBA is the devil. Like, the amount of data they want on you is so absolutely crazy. Then it might be the internet. The internet might be slagging if if that's happening. The amount of data they want from you and about you is just crazy, right? And so many people don't want to do SBA because of that. And that's just the point. Like, banks should have credit cards have taken the place of banks, but if you take the funding course, it may be a delay. It may be. I may just kill the stream then if it's tripping that bad. The thing of it is like, when I did the funding course, what I was showing people, a lot of time, if you have these Shopify sites, you have these Stripe accounts, you have these online e-commerce businesses, you can get cash merchant advances left and right. Left and right, you can get these. Like, there's thousands of companies that give you these, to me, really horrible but expensive loans. A lot of people will say, Erica, I got this loan, I got it for $7,000, but I got to pay $11,000 back. I get these calls all the time, and I go, that's very common, because they know you're in a crunch. They know that, unfortunately, they know the banks they're a business, and they lend if you got 2-3 years of experience. That's why when people started talking about business credit, I started laughing, because I've been doing this long enough, and I've talked to enough people, and I've did over 6,000 phone calls, and on top of that, just other business owners, talking to other business owners. Hello, thank you. That works. Have a good day.
You too.
Let's get on the road, y'all. Talking to other business owners who are experiencing the same problems, And so when I tell y'all about make more money, I don't do it and keep your job. Like, 9 times out of 10, when I'm telling y'all to keep your job and then apply, it does taste like mocha. It's a dark chocolate, so it's a little bit bitter, but it's just less sugar, basically, right? So when I tell you guys to keep your job and make sure you apply, when you apply for your real estate loans, when you apply for your rehab and construction loans, I'm not doing it as a person knocking you. And I think many people take it offense, like when I tell them not to quit their job, like, how dare her tell me not to quit my job? And it's like, I'm telling you this because I know from funding experience and others' funding experiences how difficult it can be to, they're blocking the road here, how difficult it can be to get funding once you quit your job. And I'll tell them, I'll be like, look, do you got 3 years tax returns? Do you have consistency in your accounts? Are any of your accounts overdrawn? Like, they're looking for a no. Banks are almost dead. The reason banks are almost dead is because they're looking for a no. And if you think about America, everybody's got a no. Everybody's got like an NO is what I'm saying. Everybody's got something about their personal business or their personal accounts that could possibly give them a flag. So that's why banks are dying essentially, or they only get stuck giving big corporations that money. This is why you see people buying these shelf corporations, because they want to get funding. And shelf corporations, if something's been around 9 years, if they can show they've got healthy credit, then the bank is like, oh, look at you being around for 9 years, knowing good doggone well that they weren't exactly around 9 years, but on paper they were, right? And that's what is the problem. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all, I'm like, I get it. I get you want the credit cards. I get it. But if you get them, they can't be for play. They have to be strictly business. They have to be strictly business. That's why I put the funding course together, because I kept saying, you guys are doing it all out of order. I phone with you and many of you would be doing things and I'm like, that's out of order. Of course you're not getting funding. Look at the name of your company. Now, I may have misled you when you saw, well, Erica, you named one of your businesses SW Investments, and then you named the other one Grandview Acquisitions. Yes, but those were mostly for marketing purposes. My other LLCs all say company, service, what was my other one saying? Management. I mean, they're very boring, very bland, on purpose, so as not to raise a red flag. When you put acquisitions or investments on something, immediately the bank is like, whoop, 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 flag. If you, even in my business credit course, when I talk about business credit repair course, and I was like teaching people, I was like, look, do not put credit repair in your title of your LLC. And do you know how many people call me over and over again, tell me they put credit consulting, credit something in their title, and I go, no, the bank is flag, 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 flag. Now, if you want to name your something Best Brain Services, I'm just giving a terrible name, Best Brain Services, right? And it's Best Brains Credit Repair, fine. Like, you can get away with that. You can have a website that says Best Brains Credit Repair, but when people purchase, it should say Best Brain Services, so the company doesn't get this flag, man. And I tell you guys that all the time, and I think you think I'm nagging, or you're probably like, whatever, Erica, but I'm trying to help you. I should use Enterprise. Enterprise what? Rental cars? No. Hertz. I'm a Hertz member. Hertz Presidential Gold, or whatever that thing is at this point. It's been ridiculous. But so the reason I talk to you about that, or the reason I'm saying, if you take most of my courses, most of my courses say the same thing. They'll say possession is the most important thing. Getting it in your possession is the most important thing. If you can get that property under acquisition, then you can go to the bank and ask for money for that house, for that property. You can get lines of credit out of it. You can do a lot of, not lines of credit, like equity out of that, HELOC loan, out of that property. But that's the most difficult part. What people understand is, if you're going to misuse these credit cards, because that's what a lot of you are doing, at least use it for something that makes sense. At least use it to get a property. At least use it to market your business. I did a video the other video I had, I was talking about commercial properties, and I was saying the rent is $1,650. Now people are like, oh, your business got to be doing so well. No. If you're doing a business like that out of that size warehouse, you need to be having, you should have a credit card that has 20K on it. You should have that. You should have it that a credit card with 20K on it, and just pay your year up of your company, so that you're not stressing the business and ebb and flows to pay the mortgage. And that's where a lot of people get a lease space. But that's where a lot of people get caught up, is they'll be like, oh, my tenant or my mortgage or my numbers or my rental, I need to pay, like a lot of hairdressers. You'll meet a lot of hairdressers, all of a sudden they're booking appointments left and right around the first, to pay their booth rent, to pay for the lease space. But if they had a credit card, at least one, and paid up the rent 3, 4, 5 months in advance, they wouldn't be doing hair whenever. They would do hair on a regular schedule and not stress themselves out. But I also see it with barbers too. So it's not even a woman thing. It's a man and a woman thing. You can use the word enterprise, but I always would say, what's the end part? Every company that you try to get a bank account with should end in company, services, or management. Point blank, period. I know you guys have unique creative names, or you went on your Secretary of State website and you're like, Erica, I can't find my name, or sorry, taken. But just keep it simple, right? Like, and then here's the flip side of it. You can always get an LLC that's very boring, something company, and then get a DBA to use doing business as this other name tied into your LLC. In North Carolina, if you get an LLC that says, for example, we had Sunrise Coffee. Well, we couldn't name the front name of our business Sunrise Coffee because it had to be different from the LLC. It was crazy. It was some crazy law they had at the time. So we called our coffee shop Sunset Coffee. I mean, we had to. We didn't have a choice, right? And looking back, if I had been more on my internet game, I would have turned half the coffee place into internet business where I'm just shipping coffee all day, and we would have still been open. But it was what it was, and I learned so much, and I grew from that. So, and that's the thing, there's this guy was saying, I think Preacher Donnell on Instagram or whatever, he was like, if you're scared to fail, you just get out of business, because that's what it is. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about all the time, like, people are worried about failing because they're worried about how they'll look to other people. Not because they want to actually learn something and improve their life, but because they're scared how they'll look to people. You know, things I've said I was going to do and it didn't turn out right, and people could probably throw it back in my face years later. Please. That's like 27 books worth of stuff people can throw back in my face. But you got to keep on going, because sometimes those people won't be in your life. Now, maybe you say, well, what about your family? Yeah, your family will be in your life and stuff like that. But 90% of the people you're worried about, friends and social media people, you can delete your social media and start over tomorrow. But, yeah. So, again, a lot of these people that you see with the credit card game, go look at their Instagram and listen to what they're saying. Because at the end of the day, many of them are having to go buy real business. Like, they're going to get a shelf corporation of an old company. Then they're going to get a Shopify automation site or something, because they're having to show a paper trail of real money. They've been doing this shell game, moving these credit cards around, and now they're getting stuck. So they've had to, at some point, use actual businesses. Not really. You shouldn't really use capital either. I mean, again, let me be clear. Services, company, management, they are under the radar. They will be so boring that it doesn't raise any flags. But when you start putting capital, start putting investment, start putting acquisitions. And this is the thing. You can do this. You can name your company acquisitions, investment, all this stuff. But guess what you need to do? Completely write off the ideal. Just completely write off the ideal that you're going to get money from a bank. Just spend the next 4 years of your company going to get private investors. That's what you should do. If you're gonna be like, Erica, I still want to use whatever you want to use. You want to use acquisitions, you want to use investments, you don't want to follow the rules. You don't have to. You can make your LLC whatever you want. Correct? Listen, Donald Trump has 660 corporations, LLCs involved in. That dude, Tai Lopez kid, Stephen Lau, he has 177 LLCs. Some of them are probably crazy names, some of them are not. But I'm telling you, as a person who put together a funding course and put together, the number one complaint we get from people, the number one thing people complain, well, I went to the bank and they asked me all these questions. I said, well, what's the name of your company? Credit Care something, Capital something, Investment something. I'm like, well, first of all, you didn't follow the rules. The rules, I say in every video that's related to any business funding or business capital, I tell you, use the name, company on the end of it, services or management. They're the most non-red flag, because here's what happens. Some of you are calling stuff transportation, calling it this. Some states, you have to pay taxes out the gate. Like, if you start telling yourself a transportation company, they're going to go, do you have this license? Do you have this other license? Do you have that license? Pay attention. Don't get caught up out there, y'all. That's how they're going to get you. If some of y'all are out here using the language the language you're using is getting you a flag, basically. That's all it is to it. Now, If you are saying, I just don't care, I still want to use a particular thing, you can. But what you're going to have to do is either use your personal, because you've used this crazy name, or you're going to have to raise private capital. That's all you're going to just be raising private capital till you just get sick of it. That's what you're going to be doing. Never put truck in your business. Exactly. Never. Listen, look at all the companies, like that video of those Africans. Look at, and people say, why do they have so many different subsidiaries with different names? Is because because they're reaching their max of their funding with that one subsidiary. So they have multiple businesses. Okay, not to get too far in the weeds, but prime example, there was a guy when President Obama was in the first term, and people were like, oh my God, it's so horrible, President Obama, blah, 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 right? And what he said is, people were like, well, what if Obama raises taxes? Oh my God, we're going to be in such trouble. The guy said, look, if I make $1 million in company A, then I'm just going to open up 3 other LLCs and pay those 3 LLCs $250,000 a piece. I think it was, $250,000 a piece. So then he'd have 4 companies making $250,000 a piece. Now, many people say, well, why would he do that, Erica? Why? Because he'd be paying way less taxes at $250,000 than he would $1 million. So when I tell you to have these very boring company titles, it's not just for you. It's not just for me trying to tell you what to do, or it's because it'll be easier for you to keep up with them. It'll be easier for you to keep track of them. It'll also be easier for you to get this funding. And I know I'm driving y'all crazy with this very boring topic, but it's important. Many of you are going to bump your head in funding because you're not listening. And then you come and go, oh, banks are terrible. I'm like, well, they're terrible to you because you don't want to follow the rules. You don't want to follow the blueprint, which is fine. But at least be honest about it that you don't want to listen. That's my thing. Right? And so, and that's why we're big. That's why you see group funding and private equity places blowing up, because what happens is a lot of these guys, they know it's going to take banks a long time to close on things. It's going to take banks a long time to approve them for repairs and remodeling. So you can work out credit. You can work out payments with your contractor. You can work out all kinds of situations. But they're going to require work. So you have to make a decision. Well, thank you guys. I mean, I'm trying not to read. I'm trying to drive. And my friends all went off on me yesterday for like, oh my God, the car. You can't be doing videos in the car, man. You can't do it, man. I go, look, man, you're going to drive 30 minutes anyway. Good time of use of time. But I will probably do a video in LA well, probably not tomorrow, because we have the meetup all day, mastermind all day, and then we have the meetup at Shaquille's, which Shaquille's is killing my diet, y'all. I mean, like, y'all know I got to get on that boat party and look fabulous. So I've been like working out 2 times a day, and everything. And then like literally Charles is like, yeah, we have a meetup at Shaquille's. I was like, what's at Shaquille's? Fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. I'm like, come on, man. You know we doing vegetarian while we out there. Come on, show me the veggies on the menu. But I'm just doing this because I know so many of you, I get messages and it cracks me up where they're like, well, do you think I can just Google and find this information out on my own? And I go, yeah, you could. You totally could. I mean, fine. If you're willing to Google for 2 years till you get the answer you're looking for, okay, cool. Like, or you could just follow the steps someone else put in an order and a direction. And again, the number one thing cracks me up when people ask me about Hood Estates. Oh, do you think Hood Estates? I'm like, dude, I literally took the course and followed every step by step. Only thing difference is I invited the community in to invest with me. That's the only difference. And people be like, oh, do you think I should take the course? I'm like, for real? Are you for real right now? Do you think I can Google? I'm really smart. And I go, if you're so smart, you'd already have the answers and the results you're looking for. And that's not a knock to call anybody dumb. I'm not calling anyone dumb. But a lot of people assume I'm pretty smart. You know what I'll do? I'll Google and find the information. And honestly, most people in America have not been taught proper research techniques. They just haven't. You barely get taught when you get your master's degree. But I was literally doing people's papers who had master's degrees for them. You can always change your LLC name. Always. Always. It's a form you fill out. Depending on your state, they make you pay $50, $100, $200. It depends on your state. I can't name off state prices. I'm just not gonna do that part. You can go on your Secretary of State and look for a name change, because companies change names all the time. It's not a big deal. It's also, to me, easier and cheaper just to start another LLC, get another bank account and start fresh. But to each his own. Especially if you got a business that's been in for 3-4 years. Like, did I tell you about my friend in North Carolina? How he had 7 LLCs. He started in college when we were in college, and then he paid on them a couple years in a row, and then he forgot about them. Then he was like, oh, I can sell these. He updated them, paid all his fees, and turned around and sold each of them, because they were like 8-9 years old at that point. Paid them for, because he paid whenever you like have an LLC go bad or you forget about it, you can actually, you can go back with your state and pay the last couple of years taxes if there's any, or pay 0, of course, because you wasn't using it. And so now he has these companies that were 8 or 9 years old at the time, and was sold them all for like, I think $9,000 a piece or something ridiculous, because of time. So if you have a business and you say, well, Erica, I just want to change the name, and it's been going on for 3 or 4 or 5 years, do that. Save yourself the trouble. But yeah, to this day, I'm like, he's such a smart person, because I'm like, dude, who would have thought of that? But he did, of course. I also have a friend that buys domains all the time. Like, they just buy up all the domains, and then like they'll get emails every month, like, oh, can I buy this from you? Can I buy this? Can I buy this? Yeah, you can change it. I mean, here's the thing. I've seen people buy LLCs, like old shelf corporations that have like construction in the name, building in the name, real estate in the name. And trust me, I've got some good stories on those. I'll save those for another day. But there was a time I was like, should I buy a couple construction LLCs? I could do that. But not anymore. I'm not that interested. Well, I am, sort of, for some of the real estate I want to do in the future, but not like you think. I'm so sick of Austin repairing this road. Been tearing it up forever. Anyway, let me see what you guys say. I'm kind of stuck behind this truck. Yeah, change it if it says cleaning in it. Yeah. But Phoenix, Arizona, we're checking out some dates, some spaces for that. Also checking out the dates for Las Vegas. But I think you guys on the West Coast are going to be in the fall. It's hot. It's hot in July. It's hot in August. My main focus is the boat party and VIP dinner in Austin, Texas. If you haven't got your tickets, go ahead and get them. Get your butt here to Austin. You'll love it. It's going to be pretty lit. Our restaurant we're going to be eating at is in North Austin. It's a seafood restaurant, but they do a little bit Asian flair / seafood. And I'm like, yes, this is going to be so fun. This is going to be so fun. This is our first annual. Next year will be our second annual. And so my dream for this is ultimately that we'll be able to, you guys will be able to come into town. And, you'll come on a Friday. We'll do a long, boring, whatever on Friday. Saturday, you get on the boat. Saturday night dinner. Maybe Sunday brunch, and you roll out, right? Just make this a big thing every year. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be worth it. What keeps me motivated? Man, what keeps me motivated is I am a big believer if you keep writing your goals out, because I have down days too. I have days where I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I think one day I don't remember how many, but I had a bunch of people pay like $600 for phone calls, and we ended up scheduling them all on the same day. And I was doing the calls and I was complaining, and literally the girl who does my stuff, assistant stuff, she's like, well, you made like $6,000 today. You just talked to 10 people. And I was like, you're right. Like, I had to like recess how I was acting about it. But it's also, you have to keep writing those goals out. Like, is this aligned with my goals? Where am I trying to go? I listen when I'm on the plane. Like, you guys know, I've listened to Lead the Field at least 12 times. Like, because I have time I fall asleep on the plane, so then I just like the next plane I just play the rest, and I just keep listening on the Audible, really positive messages. I either listen to Christian motivational, I listen to personal development stuff, or I listen to business books. And I just, again, what I always kind of get from all of it is, what is your goal? Like for me, it's just jokingly, but Chip and Joanna Gaines, like that. I'm making all this money so that I can eventually have a modern day farmhouse and a bunch of kids that can have the option to be homeschooled or just travel with me a bunch. Right? Now that's the number one goal. Number two goal is impacting thousands of lives, right? Via the internet, right? Because so many people say, well, Erica, I didn't know. And it gets on my nerves because the internet's, you got a phone in your hand. You'll look up every music video, every game out there, everything you can ever think of, but then they'll sit here and tell you, well, they didn't know something. And that's not true. There's just no way. There's no way you didn't know, because you don't know because you're choosing not to know. You're choosing not to let your mind get there. Now, again, I am a big believer when the student is ready, the teacher appears, because a lot of people, I've been trying to do A, B, and C. No, you haven't. Stop your lies. But I do believe when the student is ready, the teacher appears. A lot of people will think they're ready, and they're really not. So that's always been my big belief, is a lot of people are complaining that they never got this education in school, when really at school, most of these kids, they only remember half of what they were listening to. Right? And you have to have the desire to really educate yourself. Like I went to the bank, and this one lady was like, I can tell you're entrepreneurial. Like you're crazy entrepreneurial. Like you're like hammering it. And I'm like, I really want to tell her what I got to do to get $1 million loan. like thank you for all these compliments, but what do I got to do to get $1 million loan? Because I see myself as someone who's very capable, who could take $1 million and make it go crazy and 10x it. So again, always writing down what's your ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is, I'm doing this for the future kids I don't have yet, but I'm doing it also so that I live a great next 50 years of life. It's just going to be awesome, right? And then also like the other impacting people, right? Like as long as I'm impacting people and doing it basically for good, then I'm okay with it, right? And I put together like the funding course, and then I also put together, which I haven't released yet, I'm going to release probably in California, because I think I need like 5 more videos in it, is the online money course, right? Because there's just a million things you can do to make money online that you never have to set foot in an office, right? And then like the more people I would interact with, I'd find these things, right? And I'd talk, and I'd be like, how'd you do this? How'd you find out about this? Dude, there's so much power from the internet. And like my friend who lives in this neighborhood, I think I told you guys about this a couple of days ago, all these people she thought were like, man, these people are almost like bums. Everybody works from home or something. She just started talking to her different neighbors, and of course, this person does e-commerce, this person does this person has a small warehouse, this person does this, and they're just chilling during the middle of the day at home. What better could you be? What better life could you have? What else I got up in here? Is it still recommended to start fresh if your LLC is still in construction phase? What do you mean? Did you just get your LLC? What do you mean in construction phase? Phrase that better for me. As I'm stuck in traffic. I'm literally 2 miles from the airport, and it's like this, bumper to bumper. My flight, I think we board at 5:15, so I'm gonna be cutting it close, but I have TSA clear, so I'm not really worried. What's up, love? Hello. Thank the universe for you. Thanks. I appreciate it. And, also, I think when the original question was what keeps you motivated, is you guys got to protect your energy, right? A lot of this, like, very negative, very angry talk on YouTube, even though it can be funny to listen to here and there, you have to be careful. I'm meeting girls who are like 28 and beautiful, thinking, I'll never get married, I'll never do this. I'm like, you're a size 6. You need to reframe your thought. There was this white girl in London who killed herself at 30 because she wasn't married and she didn't have kids, even though she had a boyfriend. She really was depressed because her mom died a couple years ago. And I'm like, that you have to protect your energy. You have to think positive, and you have to write down what your goals are. These people are like jumping off buildings because life isn't Instagram perfect at 28. That's scary. People really have to they really have to like take crazy thoughts captive. Like, you know, not trying to Bible thump to you, but a lot of you are out here so deep in the dark web. I've met guys who are good looking, attractive guys who could be just fine, could be on, go and get married, have a great life, and they're sitting there like, oh, women are so hard and life is so hard. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're a good looking guy. There's really no reason other than you're just listening to the wrong stuff. You're poisoning your mind. Finally, the traffic's free. It's moving. Hold on, we're moving. The traffic's moving. Yeah, before I get in this parking deck, I'm going to have to cut this off. So look, if you haven't got your tickets for the event, next year's event will be the same time. It'll still be in July, August, most likely like August. I like this time of year in Texas because August is either going to be make or break. It's either going to be hot, like kill your skin hot, or it's going to be nice. And this year's going to be nice. But July and June are always very rough for me to bring people to Texas. If I could do a 2 time of the year event, that'd be awesome. But we're going to stick with one big annual, because I know people are like, well, when are you going to do these events in Texas? They're always asking. I'm like, this is your time to come. You got Kier from Charm City Buyers coming. You got Rashana Scott coming. Andre Hatchett. I'm supposed to be having Money Madu here. Supposed to have, who else? Coming? Terry, Gioma. All these people are going to be here. This is a great time for you to enjoy a boat, some water, some alcohol on me, some food, finger food, and then enjoy the dinner on me with your ticket. Don't miss out. Don't miss it. Oh, let me finish looking at this. What will the online course include? YouTube? No, the YouTube 6-figure course is separate from the online course, because at first I was trying to make them all together, and I realized, I was like, this is so different from the other one that it cannot go together. So the 6-figure YouTube course is still separate. It still has like 30 videos in it, so it's not done. Poisoning my mind, correct, right? Protect your energy always. There's a domain page I want that's 3,500. No one owns it. Oh, someone owns it. Go check and see who owns it. So, anyway. Look, you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the channel. If you don't know who this is, I'm Erica Williams, the Classy Climb Blog. I'll be in California this week. I'll be at VidCon. But if you haven't, grab the Smartphone Millionaire book, and you guys have a great day.